1950s to the 1970s. I love the 70s. So that is just so pleasant. Orange amp, governor, into clean orange, wham bam. But in front of that, like the soft clipping MOSFET Crazy Cacti, you know, the copy of the clone of the, you know, the full tone pedal, the full drive MOSFET, and it's wonderful that soft clipping, it's just the nicest fucking sound. And I don't know, you know, it's going with the 2 strats as well, you know, going from the 80s copy in the 50s to the 70s copy in the 70s. It's a trip, and like they're a wicked pair. Like they have a lot of different qualities, and it's like a lot of it as well. It's like it's just like, okay, you know, it's like 50s pattern strap, maple board, 70s pattern strap, or you could say you could say pre-CBS pattern and CBS pattern if you wanted to be like really basic on it. And you get all that, you appreciate all those differences, and it's like as much as if they were Fenders. I mean, I had a long conversation about this, maybe in the comments somewhere, I don't know, because I wrote a few Bibles. But it's wonderful, and I love that. That's, you know, basically, you know, last month's score was a great one. They're all great. Every single one is great, and they just sort of get better and better each time. It's a better deal each time. But it's like authentic vintage tone at a fucking, you know, price you can do, like when you're as skint as I am, and you can do, you know, at the maximum like £100 a month, like, which is good. I'm not complaining. But it's like, and that might not be sustainable, but then it might end up being a lot more. It can go either way at the moment. Maybe both. But wonderful. Love that sound, and I just wanted to share it. And yeah, it's basically, so it's like a soft clipper into a governor, so a soft clipper into a Marshall sound, and the Marshall sound is really expressed with this wonderful little like orange 12 crush, which is just really good. If you want to talk like real gear, that's like a real little baby amp. Like, it's real. It's not a little practice amp like just generic with an orange badge on it. That is a little baby orange amp. You can get a taste of that, their whole thing. I can't tell, it's, you know, short on features, but it's not. When you start digging into it, it's like, oh, hang on a minute, you know, because basically all you've got, right, you've got no channel selection. It's one channel, right? But then what you've got is like, you've got your master volume, and then you've got like your EQ section, which is really active in a sort of guitar-friendly way, is the only way to describe it. It's wonderful. And then you've got overdrive and gain, 2 separate ones, and like turning one all the way up, turning the other, they're very different. It's like overdrive and distortion, basically. But when you blend the two, you know, all down is like clean. Where it is at the minute is clean, right? Yeah, do you see? So I wind them up, and like they'd be dirty, and there's just a million combinations in there, and the voicing's incredible. And like, because it's little, I can wind it up in here, like, you know, it's one of the few amps I can truly wind up in here, and it sounds just, I just love that, because it's real. It's something real, you know. It's really, really cool. If any of you get one of these Orange Crushes, I've got a few like EQ settings and stuff which I use. I maybe demonstrate them at some point, because it's I know a lot of people have got these little oranges, and there's some sounds in there. There's some actual real sounds in there. And what flabbergasts me, I think that was like 80 quid, or it might even have been 90 quid. But it was like, what flabbergasts me is the fact that it is a real little slice of an orange. It really is. You know, it's like, and it's my first orange that I ever owned, and how appropriate to be so little. I mean, I've used a lot of orange amps over the years, and some really incredible stuff, like some proper old school authentic stuff, you know, with John Stevens' collection, and like what Roland had, and like fucking, yeah, like there is a certain, it's like a Marshall. It is like a Marshall. It's in between, you know, like, you say you've got the spectrum of UK sound, and you've got like Vox over on this side and Marshall on that, and it's like, well, Orange is sort of here, and they have a real character of their own. It's like a sweet sort of fat sort of breakup. It's just, I mean, I'll just be waxing superlatives at this point. All I can say is, like, you know, get yourself a taste of an orange at some point in your life. Just have a go and get to know what that means, you know. And just again, like, I don't buy a lot of new stuff, but I heard a few reviews, a couple of helpful reviews from smaller channels. Like, I wish I could remember the names off the top of my head, because it's like something like Dave's Recording or something like that. and it's like there's like Australian ones and Romanian ones, like, you know, it's like all manner. But there's a lot of people testing these, and they go, but the one that actually tipped me over the edge, and I'll be honest, is Dave Simpson, who I think has got like he endorses Orange. He has a relationship with them, that's clear. But he played them both, and he was getting like real Orange sounds out of them that I could hear, and I thought, hang on, that's cool, you know. And so I will say, you know, like to anybody, it's actually, you know what, Dave Simpson sold me this amp. Like he showed me that, you know, to my satisfaction, that it was good. I'm not like a huge fan of Dave Simpson. Like I'm not like, well, it's not, I like what he does immensely, but I'm not like massive like on like channels with relationships. It's nothing again, and the thing is, I want him to do well at the same time. It's a strange one, but I mean, I guess I am a fan. I wouldn't be recommending him otherwise, would I? You know, and what a fine player. Like, there's a player that you can go and sit and enjoy. You know, fuck it. I've got no reservations about suggesting Dave Simpson. My only reservation is stuff that I see on live streams, or stuff that he did, short videos that he did which weren't guitar related, when he was out and about in like a public park, and like he said some stuff that gave me pause, and you know, but so which prevents me from fully embracing the channel in the way that I do with, say, Mad Malco, who is someone, you know, I mean, I've bought things off of him, and he's just a really straight up guy. He totally is as he is, like, you know, he says it as he sees it. It's 100%, you know, 100% authentic, and I've got to say, you know, that we are running dreadfully short of that in the guitar community. You know, there's just too many like wannabes, and you know, it's and never was this, you know, and but at the same time, there's an awful lot of like really good ones as well. I mean, you know, and they come like really little grassroots ones that have got like, you know, they just hitting double-digit subscribers, but their channel content full of really insanely wicked stuff, original music and stuff. And then up to the ones that are massive, you know, that do have like 1 million subscribers and stuff, you know, and they're wonderful channels, both of them. And I mean, another one as well, you know, Rhett Shull, who I think he annoys me a bit because like he speaks with authority, but it's like he's just literally like learnt it like a couple of weeks before, and he's, you know, I don't really find his playing like that engaging. It's sort of half-hearted. He's not like a dynamic player, you know. It's sort of a bit, I'll be harsh, like for me it's limp-wristed. He's going through the right motions though, but it's like limp-wristed, it lacks conviction. But, right, and I think he's like a shill, like, you know, like he's a bit like shallow and a shill, like, and you know, and the sort of breezed in, like, you know, without like the miles that other people have. But the fact is, this is what I'm getting to. He's the one doing the content though, right? Now, if you go now and type in Orange amp sound, right? What is the Orange amp sound, right? One of the first videos that would crop up were Rhett Shull's. And you know what? Fucking, what all I've said, but that video is by far the best video about Orange amps. It says anything I could say for me better than I can. So the guy knows how to make really good content, and so I'll recommend it, because it's really good content. And like, you know, it's much more, whether I like someone or not, or don't like someone, it's far more important that, like, you know, we learn things and understand, like, you know, it's not all about the person, you know, the content is the key. And so like I listen to a lot of music, and I watch a lot of sort of like people talking about the products that they have, like that they've bought, and I learn a hell of a lot from that, you know, and definitely the little channels with like 13 subscribers are just as valuable as the ones that have got like, you know, 1.3 million, like just as valuable, every bit as valuable, and I couldn't live without, well, it's not I could live without them, but it's much easier having them. It's much easier having them. The only time I've ever bought a guitar sight unseen is the Golden Goose, you know, which I bought off of Malco, and that was because he did a video on it. I heard it, saw it, you know, watched him kind of put it together, and so it was much easier to like buy a guitar when you've seen a video of it, like, you know, a couple of times, and it's just, you know, and it's like him fixing it and doing it up and that. Like, so it's like fucking, that made it easy. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, yeah. So what I mean is seeing stuff and hearing stuff here on YouTube. It is really useful. Like, if you're trying to make decisions on like what gear to buy, especially if you're running on a shoestring, you know, regardless of how much you spend, what you definitely can't afford to do, I think, at the moment is like make a mistake, right? Spend like 100 or 200 or 300 quid on something and it's not right, it's a mistake. Like, those are the things you can't do. As regards whether you spend 100 or 300, I think that's less important, but what I do think is important is to get the right thing the first time. The only positive that you can draw when you get a bit of equipment that isn't right, that doesn't do what it should, you know, and just doesn't work for you, is it's like the only positive to draw from that is when you get the thing that is right, you do know why. You do know why it's right for you, and you can understand it, and that says something and shows you something that you're getting somewhere in your sound and your development as a player, and just, you know, having a tone. But yeah, like I can't fucking praise that little orange amp highly enough. I don't use it as much as I should. Um, like, you know, for those that have been here at the early days when it was like I had to live stream and because I couldn't upload and stuff, just right, you know, you'll remember me sort of collecting like the amps, you know, like getting the Vox and the Orange and the Marshall, and like the Fenders, making sure I've got like the representation of the sounds in some small form of backline that I can wind up here in the little studio. And so, you know, you've seen me get all that stuff. So yeah, it's nice to be able to sort of, you know, keep you abreast of like how it's actually going. But this, for anything like what I was just playing, I think anything with blues in it as well, that's the fucker. Also, I discovered a fuzz sound today. Oh, I suppose I should show you, shouldn't I? Just quickly. I'm going to show you this fuzz sound because it's out of this world. And it actually comes from the Crazy Cacti when you put it in a particular setting, vintage and MOSFET, and you crank the boost up a lot. Weird, eh? Yeah, that's all out of that MOSFET, that Crazy Cacti. I mean, I've been using it as a tube screamer, basically, using it as kind of like what I understood it to be. And I've just constantly found loads more useful things, going right up to that fucking crazy fuzz, which somehow, I've got to tell you, sounds different than it did earlier. I don't know what I was doing differently, but it sounds differently to what it was earlier. It sounded a bit more tube screamery earlier. It's almost like it's like the circuit's warmed up or something, and it's got like smoother. Very interesting. But yeah, like I showed you it earlier on the acoustic corner, but like I'll do it again. So it's like little orange amp, wicked little thing, can't complain. And there is the pedal board. The pedal board is there. The pedal board is there. Alrighty. Alright.